Good evening. Hope you're well. Joe has joined us in chat, apparently. Didn't know that.
Good evening,
Anyway.
everyone.
How are you, Jonathan?
I'm really well. Apart from being very tired and having a hectic week, it's been okay.
A good hectic, at least.
Oh, it's good hectic. Yeah, it's very creative hectic. But it's been good.
Anyway, today we are looking at some food stuff. Food-related things. Ignore the background. There are reasons for the technical issues. namely, Microsoft. Who would have possibly imagined Microsoft is the one to blame? Basically, long or the short, I'm one of those people that clicks things and don't read. And earlier on today, my font manager, Fontbase, decided it was going to uninstall itself. Don't know why. And I didn't read, so I clicked, yeah, sure, fine, go away, leave me alone. In about 2 nanoseconds, as soon as the little pop-up arrived on my screen, and it uninstalled itself. So partly my own fault, partly Microsoft's fault, and 100% Fontbase's fault for doing it in the first place.
You won't be a boomer then.
No, I genuinely, I'm absolutely no idea why it did that. I must have done something, but I couldn't even begin to tell you what. I'm not sure you can uninstall a program in less than 2 clicks. Somehow I managed to do it. So yeah, apparently I'm quite special.
We're forever doing things like that.
Anyway, the first thing we're getting onto, we have breaking news. Scientists are actually capable of telling us stuff we already know. Who would possibly imagine that, Southern California, the desert states, and that part of Mexico, who would ever possibly have been able to guess that this is a drought region?
Well, no, Zorlok.
Isn't it? Why do we need to be told this? It's common sense. It's a desert. I've watched enough Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner to know what this part of the US is like.
Yeah, you see enough spaghetti westerns.
Exactly. I've seen this plenty of times before. I don't know why they needed to tell us this. Apparently they do. I'm sure they've made a fair amount of money out of it, but there you are. The reason I'm bringing...
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised they haven't brought up Africa as well, like Northern Africa.
It is.
It's the same sort of thing.
It is. It's the same sort of terrain. They'll probably start complaining it's raining too much there. All their desert's getting wet and it can't handle it. It's going to wash away. They're not going to have any more desert left. The reason I bring this up is because this is the sort of thing that has knock-on effects. You have a bit of a drought here and a bit of a drought somewhere else. Suddenly, areas that are producing food are no longer producing as much food, which is where the next article comes in. I'm trying to work out which one I want to go to because they're both pretty relevant. I think I'm going to go in the order I made out earlier on.
Yeah.
Which is the crop failure. That is oranges. Leave me alone. Not the world's biggest issue, if we're completely honest. Oranges, we can do without an orange. But it is interesting that this is in a different part of the world. This is down in Brazil, and they're having issues with their citrus. And looking back at the previous map, Florida was also having droughty conditions.
Yeah. Mind you, there's a lot of European countries that grow oranges as well, and I don't think they're having any issues at the moment. I don't think so at the moment, but we never know.
But this is where the knock-on effect sort of thing happens, because just like with the US, where you have large swathes which are now in some sort of mega drought, which sounds like an awesome band name, but anyway, you've got this massive mega drought going on. It's going to start affecting the climate, start affecting the growing areas, and that's going to start putting pressure onto states which do historically grow a lot of their food. So then they're going to have to start buying it in from around the world.
Yeah. And also, you know what they're going to do? They'll bring in because of the crop failures and stuff, they're bringing the GMOs because we've got a solution for that, haven't we? Here is our
Oh, exactly. But
GMO foods.
that's what they love to do. They have a bit of a drought, or they have too much rain, or too much wind, or too much anything. Instant solution. Let's have some GMO crops going on here.
Yeah.
And then in a few years, they're going to start to fail, and they're going to start complaining, oh, these GMOs, we need more of them.
Or we need different
the
types.
Other parts of the country.
Yeah.
Or different types. That's the one.
Yeah.
Grain is a good example of that. Shrinking global grain supplies have little hope of replenishment until 2022 or beyond.
Well, if they allow China to buy up the world's grain, then what do they expect?
Exactly. Why are nations still selling to, well, frankly, anyone?
Well, it's mainly South America and America. But
why the Americans are doing that is beyond me. That's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, it is. But they're selling next year's crop before it's in the ground. It's like, well, why are you doing that for?
Yeah, it's speculation.
Yeah.
It's speculation of the worst kind, because it's not like speculation with the stock market. Stock market goes up and down. You can kind of guess, yeah, sure, fine, whatever.
Yeah,
this here, you're speculating with stuff which you really can't control at all. And if you get it wrong, people are going to end up in serious trouble.
Yeah, just imagine if they have another drought with say these crops that China have bought, and these ones fail in the ground. How is China going to feed itself, and how are they going to fund pay back the bill, and so on and so forth? So there's massive connotations with it.
Yeah, there's a massive problem with it. So I've just seen a comment. Where was it? I need to find it. There we go. Dave said, I would pay to see Megadrown. I think they were on the other stage at Glasgow a few years ago.
It's got to be a thrash metal beat group.
It's got to be.
It's got to be thrash.
It's got to be. With an excessively whiny singer.
With bum fluff on his chin.
Yeah, he always tried to do like the Hetfield sort of beard. It just never worked. Just give up, Dave. You're a 50-year-old man. Just please stop this. It's been going on for 30 years. We're done with it. Anyway, the interesting thing about the grain, specifically corn, is how it plays into fuel prices. A lot of corn is then converted into ethanol, which is added to petrol.
Yeah.
When these crops start to fail, I'm kind of interested to know what they're going to do if there is a genuine shortage of things like corn. Are they still going to insist that 5, 10, 15% of petrol, depending on the nation, has to be made out of ethanol?
That's a good point. Yeah, we've already started seeing the prices of petrol creep up again.
Mm-hmm. I saw earlier on today that inflation in the US over the last 12 months has been 5%. I'm not sure what inflation rate is at the moment.
No, I don't know.
I think it's a little low. I think it's at 1.8. For some unknown reason, they love to try and hit 2%.
Yeah, but I think the way it's going, I think it's going to hit 14. That's what I've been told.
It's certainly going to start to rise rapidly in the next 18 months or so. Right, apparently it is 1.6% at the moment.
Wow, right.
I'm not entirely sure I believe that. That doesn't seem like what I'm seeing, to be honest. Things are definitely getting smaller. Anyway, moving on from that, we're now moving into their apparent solution. Their solution to all the food problems.
Yeah.
Add ground insects to pasta and burgers to overcome food supply issues.
No, I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want that. I don't eat that. I eat enough. I eat enough flies and bugs while I'm working. I don't need to eat any more. They fly in your mouth while I'm. Talking about flies and bugs. I spent 5 minutes today trying to get rid of a horsefly that was buzzing around my head.
Oh, no.
Oh, I hate them things.
Have you ever been bitten by one?
Yes, it's not nice.
I think they're the ones, for some reason, they have this ungodly attraction to my dad. He goes out. If it's summertime, he can be eaten alive by these things, and he comes up in massive, massive welts.
Yeah. Well, this one was trying to buzz around my top of my head, and I was like, I'm not having a great thorny lump on my head. Thank you very much. Sod off.
No. No, those things are bloody nasty. Anyway, let's see what Oliver Ruggard has to say. The environmental correspondent. Future foods could feed isolated communities and overcome trade issues. A new paper has said. Doesn't this just like food to you? Doesn't this make you hungry? Yummy.
Looks more like a power bank.
I'll be honest with you. I can't even work out what this is. Okay, right. This is for algae. I just saw the text underneath. This is to grow algae.
Well, we've got global warming. Why can't we grow it in the sea?
No, the wrong type of algae, don't you know?
Oh, yes. I've forgotten.
That's stupid of us to assume that you can just eat any algae. You have to eat their special algae.
It's probably GMO algae as well, at that.
But I don't like the name of this algae. It's too close to cholera for comfort. Right, so we've got the cholera algae and the spit algae, and these are the ones that you can apparently eat. Maggots and insects should be ground up and put into pasta to tackle food supply problems. Cambridge University academics said.
There's enough. This is what they always harp on about, which really gets my goat. There's enough food in the world that's produced to feed everybody. It's just a certain few that are greedy and take the massive percentage. That's what it really bugs me. There's enough food produced in the world to feed everybody, at least twice over. It's just not distributed very well.
The thing that amazes me is you've got continents like Africa. Once upon a time, Libya used to produce an incredible amount of grain. Tunisia as well. They used to feed the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
How are these people unable to grow wheat? I don't understand. This doesn't make sense. No. I understand that the climate has changed a little since then, but they should still be able to produce a fair amount, especially with modern technology and eases and all the rest of that.
It's probably because the country's so disabled through war and various other things that they haven't got the infrastructure to do it anymore. But you look at places like Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
They were they could quite easily feed all of Africa but because the stupid regime, and it's still going on now, even though he's stepped down.
Well, he's dead now, thankfully.
Oh, of course he is. Yes, he is dead.
I know. It's a happy day that was.
Yeah. But it's still the same process. They're still pushing white farmers off the land. South Africa's even worse.
Well, South Africa's just fallen apart.
It has and it will. It will just become a hellhole.
It'll be like Zimbabwe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The thing that genuinely amazes me about Zimbabwe and South Africa, if I remember rightly, just before they started to have their issues, i.e. the white minority rule was got rid of, they still had massive, massive economies. They were still some of the largest economies in Africa. Back before then, back in the 40s and 50s, the Zimbabwean economy was one of the largest in the world. And surpassed it. If I remember rightly, it was in the top 5. And in terms of food production, it was producing enough food for the majority of Africa by itself.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, when you look back at that period of time, the famines weren't in Africa. Famines were in India.
Yes.
There weren't very many famines going on in Africa at that time. It's only really from the 70s onwards, I think even in the 60s they were fine. It's the 70s onwards when they started to have these food issues. And then obviously dear old Bob Geldof got onto that in the 80s.
Hang him.
Please.
I don't like the man. I really just despise the man deeply. Just despise the man deeply.
Here's something I'd like to point out with this article. Isn't it interesting how they, depending on who says something, changes how much credit these people give to it? If you change Cambridge University's for McDonald's CEO, these people will be having a fit. This is the Telegraph. The Telegraph will be going spare. The Guardian will be all over it. Maggots and insects should be ground up and put into pasta to tackle food supply problems, says the McDonald's CEO. This is yet another example of how the rich are trying to abhor, blah, blah, blah. They would lose their mind. Meanwhile, you say Cambridge University academics, all is good.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. There's an agenda going on, yes.
Oh, we're going to see the agenda in a moment from an article from nearly a decade ago mentioning future foods, but that is shortly coming up. Overcoming public resilience to eat insect larvae and it could be a challenge. Yes, because humans don't eat that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Who would possibly have imagined eating bugs is not something we do?
Well, we don't do it in the West, but I know that the Far East do a lot of that. I know they do. And it's quite commonplace to see it in the markets and so on and so forth. But it's something that we don't do.
Would you say it makes up a large part of their diet?
No, I'd say about 10%, if that.
Right, so it's basically a treat.
Yeah. You can't really get fat on it. One of the things. Yeah, I know. One of the things that there's a story. My friend used to travel across Asia, and he stopped in Hong Kong, and he wanted. He was just walking through the market in Hong Kong. This is before it changed over to Chinese rule. And he's seen these locals going around with these little paper bags, and it looks like little chocolate drops in them. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Ooh, they look nice." So he found the stall that was selling them. He went over and he said, in sort of broken Chinese and English, "I have a bag of those." What the customer just had, and so he's eating these chocolate dipped whatever. He didn't realise what they were, and he was eating them and crunching them away. And he thought, "Oh, they're a bit crunchy." And he's had a few of them. And he turned around to the man that was selling this at the stall. And he said, what's in these chocolate?" And he said, "Fried cockroach dipped in chocolate." No way.
Why dip them in chocolate?
Yeah. Dip them in chocolate. Yummy. No, deep fried and then dipped in chocolate. That's gross.
Is there any point in that?
Oh, no.
I don't know. I kind of imagine that eating an insect is just kind of like crunchy air.
Well, yeah, if it's fried, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I did my Duke of Edinburgh, we had a guy. He was a survival guy, and he said to us, "Oh, let's. You've all got your tinned food and your bits and pieces to eat tonight. I'm going to try. You're going to get you to try all these other things." So we had to try worms. We tried I can't remember what else. Woodlouse, that's right. Woodlouse. So we all had to go
Do
out
they
and
taste
find.
like bacon?
No, they taste like shrimps.
Oh, fair enough.
They taste like
Well,
shrimps.
there
It's
you
the same
go.
family. Same family. But the what do you call them? Worms. They were weird. They were weird tasting. You had to squeeze them and push all the mud out the
Oh,
inside of them, right? And then you sort of quickly blanch them in hot water. It's like, no, this is a bit weird tasting, rubbery, weird. It's like
no.
rubbery lip. Oh no, it wasn't nice. It
No,
wasn't
that
nice.
sounds absolutely horrific. I fully agree with Roy Bob. I'd rather eat nettles. Just nettles are edible at least.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
Nettles are designed to be eaten in comparison.
yeah.
That just sounds awful.
No, they were
I
all
mean,
right. They did taste fine. They did taste fine. You just close your imagination to it and just eat them. They were all right. They were all right. They weren't that bad. Damn sight better than the
no,
worms.
I have to ask when it comes to the worms. Did you chew them or did you just cut them up into small bits?
No, we had to boil them like in the lengths and then eat them like spaghetti. It was horrible.
I hate that I had to ask. I apologise to everyone.
It wasn't nice. And also we had to. He took us like up into the trees and foraging for wild birds' eggs. Obviously, nothing that's rare.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just some pigeons.
yeah, pigeons and stuff like that. Yeah, but it was interesting.
This
Oh,
article I want to bring up, mainly because of that, I'll be honest with you, that
bugs.
Weetabug. You said last night that Weetabix is having a short issue. What's going on there?
Well, they so say it's going to be because the workers are going on strike,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't suspect that as being the true reason. I think it's more to do with they can't get hold of the product, the things that they put into the wheat, the actual wheat.
Mm-hmm.
So I reckon it's more to do with that than them going on strike.
So you think they've got onto the unions and said, "Hey, lads, help us out a little bit."
Yeah, yeah. Let's push you along a bit. We want more money, and obviously let's make a crisis.
Never let a good one go to waste.
Oh no, no.
There is something in this article. I'm trying to find it.
It's
I don't
too
know
small
why
for me to
I've
see.
never noticed. So I don't know why I never noticed this before. When they go on about like these sort of foods, the mealworm larvae and the house fly and the black soldier fly and things like that. When they go on about eating that, they typically say this is good because there is more protein per square meter. And it just struck me earlier on that is a completely and utterly useless metric. Because the thing that they should be looking is how much that protein is a human able to consume. At the end of the day, we get full eventually. Not like we can just continuously eat protein and protein and protein, and then we're stuffed. You're going to have to eat, I would imagine, a fair amount of these bloody
Yeah.
mealworm larvae and
Well,
things like that, especially once it's cooked.
it's the same difference as eating a stir fry to eating a bolognese. Eating a stir
Yeah,
fry, 5 minutes later, you're starving, but after a bolognese, you're like, ooh, I'm stuffed. I've had
they've said
enough.
you can't say that anymore because it's racist.
What,
I don't know
stuffed?
why. No. It's saying that eating a stir fry and you'll be hungry 20 minutes later. I
How can that be
legitimately,
racist?
I don't know. I've legitimately seen them say that. I don't believe it was the Guardian. I think it was something even further left than that. Absolute toilet paper.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the best thing for it.
Yeah. I'm going to pop this link into chat. Maybe somebody can find where they mentioned square meter. Or maybe people just want to read it in general. There that is. It's just interesting because I've never really noticed that before. But what I did notice, and I noticed this years ago when it first came out, remember the phrase they were using in the previous article, future foods?
Mm.
Well, almost 10 years ago, the BBC came out with an article, which I very much remember. Future foods, what we will be eating in 20 years' time. I don't really know why in this picture of food they've got a spaceship and a slightly chubby man playing a trombone. I don't understand this.
Those porky fingers.
Yeah, they're proper sausages, then. They're the only sausages you'll be getting in the future if these people are there. Why? The first thing they go on about is insects or mini livestock, as they could become known, will become a staple of our diet. I love the idea of mini livestock. Yes, we're going to have this farm. It's going to be a novelty-sized farm filled with mini livestock of crickets.
Yeah. You could bring the children around to see the mini farm. Look.
Well, could have a little petting zoo and you could pet the cricket.
Yeah.
Micro pigs.
You could adopt a cricket. You can adopt a cricket for a week.
You have to paint a little red dot on its head so you know which one you have.
And the bonus, when it dies, you can eat it.
Exactly, it's perfect. And the best part is, unlike with a pet pig or a pet sheep, the child isn't even going to be sad.
No.
What was the next part of this article? Apparently, it's a win-win situation. Insects provide as much nutritional value as ordinary meat and are a great source of protein. They cost less to raise than cattle, consume less water, and much of a carbon footprint. Oddly enough, not that big of an issue in Northern Europe. Not sure these people have noticed, but it rains quite a lot.
Yeah, it's raining today here.
It really looked like it wanted to rain here. I'm absolutely amazed it didn't. I'm bloody annoyed we missed the eclipse.
Yes.
I was looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to it for the past week, and no. The day turns up, I thought, it's going to be lovely.
We had a cloudy day.
Same
cloudy, humid day. It was horrible. Sticky.
No, it's not been humid.
Oh, it's been really sticky.
It's been pretty cold here. It's not been nice at all. What else are they going on? Sonic enhanced food.
Sonic enhanced? Bloody hell.
It's well documented how the appearance of food and its smell influences what we eat. But the sound has on taste is an expanding area of research. Well, I hate to tell you, 10 years later, it doesn't look like it expanded very much. This is the first time I've ever heard of it, which is made more remarkable by the fact I do remember this article.
So you're going to get your crickets to sound like pigs? Is this what they're going to tell us? And your worms sound like cows?
Moo!
Wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. Moo!
The French will be screwed if their crickets start sounding like frogs. You'll be weirded out. Why are these frogs so small? I'm sick of them putting chemicals in the water, turning the freaking frogs into crickets. Apparently, lab-grown meat, this is something else they love to push, and they've loved to push it for a long while. Earlier this year, Bankers successfully produced 2 in vitro meats, known as cultured meats. Now they're doing this fully. I'm sure we all remember that earlier this year, the restaurant in Israel was giving away free chicken. And it was not chicken. It was weird lab-grown chicken. The only thing they've ever given away for free.
But then this all comes back from that. I can't remember the name of the company now. It sort of appeared in the early sort of 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and basically it's mushroom fungus that they produce to make into like burgers and sausages and so on and so forth. I can't think of the name of the. Anybody in the chat?
I know the stuff. I'll look it up.
Yeah. But that was like the start of it, and of course, corn. That's it. Corn.
Is it? Is
Corn.
that what that is?
Pardon?
Is that what corn is?
Corm, yeah, corm is a fungus. And funny thing
I
is
thought it was the Incredible Burger thing. I thought that was the stuff made out of the fungus.
No, it's the corm. So what they did is they went all over the world looking for this specific fungus, and they found it no more than a mile away from the factory.
I don't know.
It's a useless bit of information, but they went all over the world looking for this fungus, and they found it just outside their premises. And that stuff doesn't taste right. It's there.
I don't get down with any of this replacement meat nonsense. Oh no, I don't like the look of this in nature. Ooh.
In nature, all I can see
it's kind of like a weird. Oh yeah, I'm coming back. It's like a weird chicken in the sea, but not really.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
They look like some weird mushrooms. It must be said.
I expect they're quite tasty as they are. I expect they're really tasty as they are, and you wouldn't want to mess about with them. They look all right. I'd eat them.
I'd eat them, but they look a bit like the weird Jew ears, but not really.
You've got a thing about those, haven't you? You don't want to try those. They're lovely.
No. They don't look normal.
No, they're really nice. As long as you don't overcook them, because they're a bit like if they're a bit. They have the same texture as octopus or squid.
Oh, I like octopus and squid.
Yeah, well, if you like that sort of texture, you're like Jew's ear. Just put it with some like shrimps or something, it'll be fine.
Yeah, just pretend it isn't that.
Yeah, they're lovely.
It's the fact that it's floppy. They look so floppy and sickly.
Yeah, they are floppy. They are quite. But see, as the summer dries them out, they go black and hard, and that's the best time to pick them, to store them, and you can store them for ages.
Oddly enough, it's kind of difficult to find a picture of them when they're in the black state, but here they are. I've managed to find them.
That's it. Yeah, they look more like bat's ears or bats. They've got that furry, felty look.
Yeah, they do. They look like lips. Joe, are you feeling okay? Has that sunstroke gotten to you or something?
Joe, do you want to kiss them? Would you like to kiss them? I don't think I'd like to kiss them.
No, they look like ears. They are perfectly named. They look like ears. If they have the same texture as octopus, I reckon I could eat them, but they wouldn't be my first choice, that's for sure.
No, they're all right. Honestly, they're lovely. Anyway, we'll go back to potatoes.
Indeed, we're going back to potatoes because apparently it's tricky time for root crops. As 1 minute, I need to do the refresh trick. Or do I need to do the clearing cookies trick? I have a feeling it's going to be the latter. Oh no, oddly enough, I don't. I've been saved. So, now we're getting into proper solutions, our solutions. The growing food solution, as opposed to whatever the hell they're trying to make us do. Yeah, the Frankenstein food is putting it mildly. The outlook for root crops is looking tricky. with a loss of crop protection activities and coronavirus disrupting supply and demand.
That's a load of rubbish.
Exactly. How on earth can coronavirus affect a bloody potato? You put it in the ground.
You know what?
You leave it
Because you haven't got the immigrants coming in to pick them or sort them. That's what it is.
I thought they had machines to sort them nowadays.
Well,
I thought they were high tech.
Yeah. But they're saying this. But I've got hordes and hordes of potatoes. I have literally hordes of potatoes. I think with what I bought at the beginning of the year, and I've still got a few to plant. I'm sort of holding on to those because they're the ones that I need to fill up the tops of the tyres.
When's the latest?
But I've got so many potatoes.
When's the latest you can plate potatoes?
Oh, right up into about sort of August, September. So those ones will be ready for your Christmas. They're your Christmas ones. You're gonna have new potatoes for Christmas. You mean?
Ooh. I don't know why. I assume that potatoes, like new potatoes, at any rate, you just kind of plant end of winter and you pick them in spring and then that's it. Everything else you leave and they turn into big jacket potatoes.
No, there is varieties there's special varieties that do certain things. So you like your earlies, mid and main crop. There are different varieties to do different things. So I've got Anya's, and they're early crops. Most of those are actually ready now. They're nearly ready. It's Charlotte's. I've got some Charlotte's, and those are just about to flower, so I can start pulling those out of the ground in the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
How many pounds of potatoes do you reckon you're going to get when all is said and done?
I would have enough. I would have enough per pound. Oh, Christ. Kilos. So let's go with kilos. I think I'm going to have, out of the 10 kilos of potatoes that I bought to put in the ground, I think I'm going to have roughly 70 kilos.
Wow.
Even maybe
that is about £140. That's a hell of a lot. 10 stone of potatoes. Bloody hell.
It's a lot of potatoes. It's a lot of potatoes.
How much work would you say you put into them?
How long does it take to dig a trench and stick them in the wall? About 20 minutes. And then I'll go back to it and I'll top the soil 3 times. So that only takes 20 minutes. So about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes roughly for one trench of potatoes.
That's a good investment of time.
It is.
But it's even better when I do an incredible investment of time.
Well, the better ones were the ones that I did in the tyres, because I'm just on the final of the 4 sets of the tyres, so that they've got one lot more potatoes to go on the top, and then they're done. And that's the King Edwards, and therefore they will be left to mature into big potatoes. So they won't be ready till September. But I've got Charlotte's coming out, and they'll be ready in, like I said, in the next couple of weeks. Anya, and I can't remember the other one. Begins with D. Desiree. They're coming up, and they'll be the next ones after the Charlotte's. Oh, and I've got Swift as well. They're not far behind the Charlotte's. So I've got plenty of potatoes. And of course I got some Saxon the other day. I'm quite happy I got some Saxon potatoes, because you can have them early, or you can leave them to get bigger.
Oh, jacket potatoes.
Oh, jackets, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I do like a nice jacket potato. You put some bacon in it, some butter, some cheese. Oh. Then people ruin it by putting bloody beans in them.
Ah, the
I
cheese is
know.
nice, but I like scooping it all out and then mashing it up and then putting it all back in.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Maybe a bit of bacon in there, a bit of smoky bacon. Yum.
Yeah, you gotta have smoky bacon with them. There's no other sort. First off, green bacon's okay, but it's not the same. It's not as good.
No, no, no. You got to have smoky bacon. You got to be able to taste the bacon in there.
Anyway, Dave has asked a question which is pertinent to potatoes. How do you
Yeah.
keep potatoes from sprouting eyes once they're picked, or do you leave them planted?
Now that is. There's two ways you can do that. Do that, Dave. One you can actually leave them in the ground and then take them out as when you need them, or dig them all out and put them into straw uh, and keep them in a very cool place. And they should last you as long as you like. Preferably, they'll probably last you till. If you did it now, they'd last you till, and then they'll start sprouting. But if they start sprouting, if they're in the ground, they won't start sprouting because they've done their season, they've done their thing. They're just going to fill up in the ground. Just get bigger and bigger. The more you water them, the bigger they get.
I just wanted to show that off because it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've done middens for potatoes.
Mittens, thank you. I was trying to remember the name. I knew it was something that was kind of cute, I suppose.
No, middens, not mittens.
Well, that's what it's cute sound. It is kind of like a mitten, but not really. It's like a fake mitten.
You can do the same process with the carrots. With that,
I'd imagine you can do it with all root vegetables, can't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can. You can.
That's like a
Crikey,
proper
look at
old
that.
boy.
That must be sort of 19.
40s, 50s.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably about that sort of period of time, isn't it?
But he looks like he's worked the land for a long while, that's for sure.
Yeah, bless him.
He probably bloody enjoyed it and all. I once knew a fella. I think I may have told this story on stream before. I'm not sure. I once knew a fella. He was bloody ancient. I think he was like 92 or 3 when I knew him. He was old. And he spent his entire life within a 3 or 4 mile radius of where he was born.
Wow.
And basically all he did, as a lad, he worked around the village, delivering eggs and what have you, that sort of stuff. Then when he got older, he went to work as a groundsman at the school. And that was it. He then basically spent his entire life doing that. He didn't go off for the war because he was busy doing the allotments.
Yeah.
Or I can't entirely remember what he was doing. He was like the allotment organizer. So he was showing people how to do it, and he was actually running it as a proper thing. Because they turned the entire school playing fields into a farm.
Oh wow.
And that's what he was in charge of. I suppose it made perfect sense. Here was a man who's already doing it. He knows the land. You either have someone who can go off to war, and he was not old at the time, he wasn't in his teens, or you can leave him there to do what he's doing and produce food. Leave him there. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes much more sense. Yeah, he was a lovely old boy.
Well, yeah. You still the thing is, yeah. Most of the young chaps went off to war, but I mean, you still needed to have people here to produce food. I know you had a lot of the land army, and which were ladies, or mainly ladies.
Yeah, but you can't replace skill and knowledge.
No, that's really true.
You certainly can't. Like, just reading stuff out of a book is one thing, but actually knowing when to pick things and knowing how to handle things like blight.
Yeah.
You can read as much as you feel like. There's no experience. There's no exchange. What's the word? There's no swap for experience, basically.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Bondor is attempting to start World War III. Controversial. What's the best Hatties for MASH?
Mars Piper, a good all-rounder, or you've got to look at all the late seasoned potatoes, really. So
why late season?
Because they're the ones that fill and mature to a good size, and they're good for mashing. So King Edward's is a good one, but also King Edward's are lovely for roasters. Saxon, the one that I've got, so you can eat the Saxon ones that you can eat young and they're waxy, and as they mature, they get floury and they're good for mashing. I wonder it'd be Mars Piper for that one. It's not my favourite, but Mars Piper. Oh, there's Saxon there.
They do look like nice potatoes. They're nice and round.
Ooh. Oh, they look nice.
Don't they just?
Yeah.
Oh, potatoes with dirt on. Now we're talking. It's still genuinely irk that you can't buy potatoes with bloody mud on them.
Yeah, you used to buy your Jersey Royals like that. You always used to buy your Jersey Royals with they always used to be like a slight covering of soil on them. And now they're all washed and pre-packed.
I'm trying to remember how old I was when I first saw a non-muddy potato. I just remember thinking as a child that it was really weird. Like, why has this potato been washed? Do you wash it when you get home anyway? It doesn't take any effort. I think I may have been about 6 or 7. It's still weird. And what did bloody supermarkets with those stupid little bloody bags? The bags of potatoes. Yeah. They're getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
We buy ours in a hang on. I think it's like a small sack.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small sack's worth of potatoes at a time, and that normally lasts us 2-3 weeks, depending on how many roast dinners or soups or whatever else I'm doing. But there's farms around here that you can buy your sacks of potatoes like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's for a huge great sack. I mean, a massive, great big sack. They actually come around and deliver it to your door for £5.
Oh, now we're talking.
For £5, that's really good.
Now we're talking.
What's that woman? Is she wearing a sack or something?
I think she is.
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And why have we got tights that look like sacks?
Oh no! All I did was been potato. Who would want the burlap potato sack leggings? But no.
Ugh. That must chafe. That's not appealing, is it? No.
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 When I look for potato sacks, this is what I want. I just want a sack of potatoes.
That's how we
normally £2 for that. There you go.
Yeah, that's we normally buy. Our sacks are like very similar to that, but we buy if we can't get them from the farm, we buy them like that from Lidl's. I think it's £3 for quite a nice sack like that.
Okay, that made me laugh. I don't know why. It kind of looks like a weird little face with a crack there in the nose.
You go careful.
Don't misgender it, whatever you do.
Yeah, don't.
Anyway, that was all the potato loving. What other garden questions does chat have? There were quite a number last night, ironically.
Itchy pants. They would be if we were sacking like that. Nice bit of Hessian sacking around there.
I would say they'd be well ventilated, but I don't think they would be. Also, could you imagine? They'd grip onto every tiny little bit of hair.
Ooh, don't. Oh.
That's awful. That's an absolutely awful feeling.
I think I've told you, but I haven't told Chat that the story of my nan, God rest her soul. She was an avid fan of knitting, and she used to knit us all jumpers and stuff. She got so good at this, and she started knitting socks as well. And of course, they're a bit hot and itchy. They're all right for welly socks. It's fine on a cold day, but you don't. And she made. It was only me because I was the youngest out of four, and she made these woolen white fronts, and they were the most horriblest thing I've ever had. They were itchy, and no, they were nasty.
How many times did you wear them?
About twice. I thought I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. I washed them. My mum washed them. I was only about 7, 8, I think I was. Yeah, she washed them. She says, "Oh, they'll be better once they washed. They'll be softer." I put them on. I said, "No, Mum, they were not nice. They were the most awful things I've ever worn." They were not nice.
I need to find out if there are pictures of woolen Wi-Fis.
You could go and have a look now, are you?
Absolutely. Oh, tragically they're not.
No.
There are though. There's something somewhat similar.
Like Long Johns? She made Long Johns. Long Johns were all right, but you have to put pants under those.
We got some woolly boxers.
They look more like Lederhosers.
Well, I think that's just because they're weirdly long. Oh, look, this one here is a drawstring. Don't look anywhere else, whatever you do. Oh, how cold must it be if you need this? Oh, there are no more.
No.
Oh, I can't believe they actually exist.
Brian Dawes said delete your Google history. Yeah.
I think I need to after that. I don't want to know what else it's going to show me. I agree.
I could do with a cup of tea.
Itchy does sum it up.
Yes, very itchy. Yeah.
Anyway, does Chat have any more questions? Garden questions. If not, Jonathan needs a tea and I could do with one and all.
Oh, if everybody remembers, I was going to do the box theory with the potatoes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've got a picture. Yeah. You sent me one.
Now, you know that I was really reluctant in doing it because I knew what the outcome was going to be. Well, yeah, have a look at the photo and you can see what I mean. If Jordan can find it.
Oh, no, I can find it. I'm just having to do the
switcheroo
where I have to, basically I have to pop it up onto Discord and then grab it off of there. And there we go. See, like a magician. If there is a workaround, I will eventually find it. Unless that workaround involves something randomly being deleted off my computer. But there you are. That is the outcome.
Yes, that is the outcome. They just fall apart. And it's not that they're annuals, and they're an early crop. So I thought if I do it with an early crop, at least if it fails, and it has failed, then I haven't lost that much. That was only four potatoes I put in there.
It's just exploded.
Yeah, it's just all fallen apart. And it's a good. I've left on the tape on it as well, so I'll hold it all together, hopefully. But
I did notice that.
yeah, and it's just not. It's just not staying there. It's just falling apart.
Why do you think people keep pushing for it, given these results?
I don't know. I don't. I think it's. I think they think it's eco-friendly idea. It's a bloody silly idea, if you ask me.
That's eco-friendly.
Because you're not buying a plastic or
Oh, goodness.
metal pot to put it in. But it's bloody ridiculous. I was really, really reluctant to do it, and it's just an awful mess. And I know if we're having much more rain, it's just going to fall apart. If I water it, which I'm reluctant to water it every once in a while, but it just sort of falls apart a bit more. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to go like old and slimy.
Mm.
Johnny Not Power says not enough tape. That tape is typically the solution to all problems. Just put
Yeah,
more.
I'll get some of that Gorilla tape, I think, and whack it around that.
I've got possibly the worst bloody duct tape known to mankind. It's
Doesn't it stick?
No, it doesn't stick to a bloody thing. It doesn't stick to a single bloody thing. The only thing so far it's managed to stick onto with any like level of quality, I've got like an SD card holder, and I've just put some tape on that and written what's on it on the tape, and it so far so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, duct tape, extremely overrated.
Yeah.
Or at least the stuff out of B&Q is. Find a different brand.
Oh, see, I've gone over to that Gorilla stuff. It's really good. It is really good. But the thing is, if it gets stuck to things, you can got a hell of a job getting it off.
Oh, no.
Really hell of a job getting it off.
Ooh. One minute.
Oh, we got a question.
There we go. No, Dennis has got his first potato flour today.
Oh, nice. Well done. When did you put them in, Dennis?
How long do they typically take? Like in a normal year? I don't think this year has been normal at all.
Yeah, the normal season. The normal season. So once you've put them in, it should take about 2 to 3 weeks before you start seeing them pop their heads out of the ground. And then obviously you're earthing up. It depends on how many times you earth up, and then obviously once you've got them mature off the top of the ground, it generally takes about about 4 weeks, and you should start seeing the flowers. But once you start seeing the flowers, you know that you're not far away from taking them out of the ground. So once they start flowering, you know that they're nearly ready to take out as an early crop, unless they're a late crop. So like go back to it, King Edwards or something like that. Depending what you want to do with the potato. If you want young waxy potatoes, obviously you want them, and they're small, so you'll catch them just as they flower. If you leave them to flower and to mature, you'll get bigger potatoes, but they won't be small, and they won't be salad crop. Depending if you want them for salad, or if you want them for roasting or mashing or something else, chips. It just depends on how, and when you do it to get the results you want.
Andrew has asked a question. Can I self-pollinate my chilies?
Yeah, as long as you've got more than one. Obviously, if you've got two, you can take, and you'll have. It's really, really difficult to do, but you can. It's possible. So you'll need a cotton wool bud from a different plant. Get the pollen from a different chili. Take it over to the next chili. But you must make sure that these two chilies are not anywhere near each other, and the hoverflies or the bees haven't been in and out between you've been going in and out of them. Put that in the other one. So they dust that into the other chili flower, and then basically seal it up. So you make a little sort of bag on the end of the flower, so it can't be pollinated by anything else. And then you've got a
What
true
happens if it
cross.
is?
Well, then it could turn out to be the same, or it could turn out all sorts of ways. It just depends on the variant of what you're.
So making sure nothing else gets near it is just about preserving the gene.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
But you can do like peppers with chilies and so on and so forth. We're all in the same family.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one jalapeno in the greenhouse. That's surrounded with tomatoes and watermelons. Two watermelons in there as well. And I was given today a cucumber plant because all of mine failed, so he's given me a cucumber plant. The guy I work for, and gherkins. So I've got gherkin and a cucumber plant for nothing. Great. But I don't know if they're F1. So I was like, oh no, because he's not awake to all these things that we are.
Get him awake.
Well, I keep probing him. I was telling him about the. I'm going to go off a bit track here. The spores, the genetically modified spores.
Mm-hmm.
You know the story about this, and so I explained
him.
I explained to him that the genetically modified spores. So I said they did the trials and the tests on them, which they had the fresh beans. They sprayed this stuff on the fresh beans. You can't see it, not with the naked eye. They processed the beans, so they've from the fresh, they've cooked the beans, then ground the beans, made coffee, and then it's gone through either a person or an animal or something, and they've tested it from the other side with like obviously urine or feces, poo, and they can still see, they can still the. Sorry, I'm a bit flummoxed today. They can still trace the stuff at the other end, even though it's gone through all those processes. It's not died. It's still alive. It's still at the other end, even though it's gone through something and all those other processes. And he's still go on.
It's just insane how indestructible they are.
Yes, yeah. But why would you do that, though? Why would you want to do that?
This is the really, really weird thing. We were going to talk about this tonight. I can't find terribly much more information out there than what there already is. What everybody already knows about it, which is basically everything you've just said. It's really, really bloody difficult to find anything more about it or about the company behind it. Their reason for doing it, I'm trying to find their name so we can go look at their website. It's basically, we want to do this so we can track food in case there's a recall. This seems to be an incredible amount of effort going into something that is simply, there's an E. coli outbreak in the middle of, Nowhereville, Tennessee. Need to go and recall all the lettuce in the area. It seems an extreme reaction to what is basically not a problem.
Well, no, you only get a stomachache and a week or so off and you're back to normal.
Exactly.
So why do you need to... Well, it's the same with everything they're doing, isn't it?
There you go. It is estimated that almost 1 in 10 people worldwide get food poisoning. First off, how many of those people are in the West?
Yeah.
This is a serious question. You know, the phrase "deli belly" exists for a reason.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, this article doesn't say who it is by,
No,
and I
because
can't remember it. Anakin is what I want to say, but I don't think it is.
no, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Many farms, including organic farms, already spray their crops with. Oh my god!
How on earth can this be classed as organic?
Well, it's not. There are, see, if you go with the soil association's rules and regulations, you can still use pesticides.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that organic if they're using pesticides?
Because they're only using a certain amount of pesticides.
I use no pesticides in my garden.
Oddly enough, you're still just organic. You're not super organic.
Oh no, no.
I'm trying. I'm going to bring this up on screen because the Ice Age Farmers, where I first came across this,
Yes.
excellent website, excellent human being, and I'm going to pop the link into chat in case, for whatever reason, people aren't following him. They certainly should. He will tell
Should,
you what
yeah.
is going on in the world of food supply and all the rest of that. I'm looking specifically for the one where we mentioned these, and I think I've gone a bit far back. May 21st. It might be a bit further.
No, just keep going.
There we go. Hidden. Right, 1 minute. Who is it from? Food Processing, SMP. Just want the name of the company who did it.
Energy Dragon. I think that's cool. My strawberries are awful. They haven't done hardly anything. Good for you.
Well done, lad. Are you a link to click? You are indeed a link to click. Okay, great. What
That's
I
the
can do.
stuff. Yeah.
Right. Weird way around it, but I've worked it out.
Right. Okay.
Right. SOSV. Right, yeah.
Would it play?
Come on.
You got it on mute.
I do indeed have it on mute. I've also paused the video because I just want to go to their website. Once we've gone to their website, we can see how little information they actually have on it. These are those people. It's not what I want.
It's not there.
There you go. AANIKA. Radio. Dead on. Biotech for better decisions. It's lovely. I love when my evil overlords start claiming they're going to make better decisions.
Yeah, the problem is if you let that stuff out, it is. What is it going to do to the ecosystem? I know the genie's out of the bag. It's been out of the bag for the last 20 years with a lot of the GM foods. But this is going beyond just your GM foods. This is going on such a microscopic level that it's got to be dangerous. It's got to be, surely it can't be responsible to let that loose on the world.
This cannot be safe. There is no way this can be safe. You're putting something into the ecosystem that is, for all intents and purposes, indestructible. It cannot be safe. There's no way on this planet it's safe. There's no control over this. You can't kill it with fire. It doesn't die once it's passed through the human body or any animal body. It's not going to break down once it's in the soil. If anything, because it's a bacteria, it's going to grow.
Yeah, you just don't know what it's going to mutate into.
Exactly. And this is all they're interested in. Ensuring product integrity, identify product origin, embed certifications, and uncover alterations. There's increase efficiency, price more accurately, limit recalls. How often does a food recall actually happen?
Very few these days. I can't imagine. I've not seen hardly any recalls of. It's mainly meat than anything.
Eggs, I think, isn't it?
Pardon?
It's eggs, I think they recall the most. I'm not sure. I vaguely remember eggs being recalled, I think, the year before last.
Yeah, and I know that there was chickens being recalled from Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Lidl's, and I can't remember where else it was. I think it might have been Tesco's, and that was a couple of months back.
There you go. Certain supermarkets' eggs subject to food safety notice due to salmonella concern. And this was last year. This was November 2020. The rest of Google is really not showing up terribly much. I'll pop that into chat because that kind of gives people an indication of how often this happens. Egg recall, we can just have food recall in general in a moment, but just doesn't really happen.
No.
October, but this is the same recall. 11th of November and the 29th of October is within 3 weeks. It's part of the same thing.
Yeah, but what do you expect when they're pumping the chickens full of steroids and all sorts of other hormones, and they're all crammed in together? Well, it's just a breeding ground. Chickens should be out wandering around free. Oh, they're talking about chickens. They've lifted the restrictions now. Now chickens don't have to be kept indoors.
Oh, good.
They're allowed to be wandering around again.
Were any people in your area keeping them indoors?
Yes, there was. Yes, on the
really.
Yes, on the allotment. Yeah, there's he's still got his undercover because the council have turned around and told him he has to.
I suppose they're slightly different being on council-owned property as opposed to your own property.
Yeah.
But yeah, around here, I don't know of anybody who's kept them indoors.
No,
I think everybody's just let them out.
Yeah, the farm where I get my eggs, they haven't covered theirs. They didn't cover theirs. They've got two huge areas for their chickens to wander around, but on the opposite side of the road, in the big farm, they've got their own chickens that they have, and they're just wandering around the road. You just see them on the verges of the road and just wandering about as they feel. Just foraging for stuff.
It'd be quite easy if they ever did come around and say, "Excuse me, put your chickens away." Just say, "Yeah, they've escaped." They're chickens. They're pretty famed for escaping. It's what they do.
I know. When I used to keep bantams, they were forever getting out.
Oh, absolutely.
And they dig themselves out of the pen quite often, and I'd find the cockerel up on the fence, chirping away.
When next door used to have chickens, they got rid of them a relatively long while ago now because a fox ate them all. There always used to be this one hen, and this one bloody hen would constantly be out, just absolutely impossible to get in. During the day, it would come and it would sit in the garden along with every other chicken. As soon as nighttime came, it would run off into the woods. It'd be like, I'm done. I know you want to put me away, son. I'm not having it. I'm going to sit in the woods. This bloody chicken, it survived so many fox attacks. It was hilarious. It had a will to survive like no other chicken ever seen before.
Oh, my friend, he's got rid of them now, but he had some of these chickens, and I've never seen anything like it. They were humongous. They were like they weren't on. They must have been specially bred because these chickens were like they were sort of above your knee sort of size. They were huge. They were like 3 foot. 3 foot and a half, maybe tall. They were huge chickens.
They were foghorn leghorn.
They were massive. I mean, you'd kill one of those to eat for a Sunday dinner. You'd feed a family of 12 off of it quite easily. They were that massive. It was so bigger than your average turkey that you see. You make a turkey look tiny. They were just humongous. But you bought them and they were tiny, tiny little chicks. He bought them in the market. He thought, oh yeah, they're nice. Bloke says, yeah, they'll get quite big. He didn't realise how big they'd get. They were massive, humongous, they're monsters. You wouldn't want to get in the pen with them because they'd like get quite aggressive. You think, ooh.
I don't fancy my chances with you, man.
No, go in there with a big stick and whack them over the head. Go away.
Barn door has said it was an ostrich farm.
Yeah. They did look like what are those? Is it New Zealand or was it Australia? Those weird-looking reptile birds that wander around they're flightless.
Oh, the massive beaks.
Yeah, I can't think what they're called. They were like sort of that sort of thing. They look like those. They were awful-looking things.
Joe showed me a video of that the other day when it was making noise. When it clicks its beak, it sounds like a machine gun. It's really weird.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Not cassowaries. No, they are cassowaries, aren't they?
Yeah, cassowary, yeah. But I rather stick. I like to stick to my bantams because they're small. I can stick them under my arm. They're easy to catch. You can catch about 3 or 4 of them. Stick them under your arms. There's not much meat on them, I know, but they're ace.
They're cute little things, anyway. Happy. Anyway, is that all? Did you have any more gardening tips before? Or things people should be getting on with or could be getting on with in the meantime?
Yeah, is anybody doing any salad crops? Because you're getting to the final phase of your salad crops now. So like your lettuces and things like that. Your window is slowly disappearing as we go through June.
We know Andrew is.
Yeah.
Andrew's doing wonders on his microgreens.
Yeah.
And salads in general.
Radishes is another good one. You can still do. I'm just about to do my second lot of radishes for the year. What else have I got? Oh, I've just done my autumn carrots. So my autumn carrots have just gone in. Yeah, spring onions. Yeah, you can get some spring onions in on the go. St. Francis.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love spring onions.
My endines are doing really well. They're starting to fill up and nice chunky. They'll be ready for a salad soon. Oh, the Lascaria. Now, you know the weird plant that I was going to grow. I grew. Now
Indeed.
they're quite large now. I should have took some photos for the stream. I didn't. I've been too busy at work. But I've had my first lot of stuff off them. They're like sticky sort of leaves. They're not really leaves. They're like more like a succulent leaf to look at. But they taste fantastic. Not very nice raw, but they're lovely if they're blanched.
Are they sweet?
No, they're slightly salty. Slightly salty. So they're a bit like samphire. Not quite.
I was just trying to remember the salty thing.
The samphire is a salty thing,
Yeah.
but these lascaris are they're ever so nice. Really, really worth thinking about growing those next year. Anybody?
Were they easy to grow?
Oh, doddle, absolute doddle. Yeah. But when they come up, they look very much like miniature, like little, like worms or like um, tiny little thin. What do you call them? They're lizards with no legs. What they call them?
Oh, the slow worms.
Slow worms. They look like tiny slow worms. They look like a massive tiny slow worms in your pot, and it's like, ooh, they got that sort of like coppery look about the stems before they open up into a set of leaves. Very weird looking, but they're so nice, so nice. And
Would you say? Oops,
yeah.
sorry, go on.
Go on. Would I
No,
say?
would you say, by and large, vegetables are easier to grow than flowers?
No, no. I've grown lots of flowers. I have to grow flowers because customers like flowers, so it's easy. No, I would say flowers are easier.
Fair enough.
Damn sight easier. Because you cast as many as you can, and then just, well, I don't know. You say that, but then I suppose it's, for me being an experienced gardener, I suppose most of it's easy easy for me. But there is things that I can't grow. There are things I fail at, and that goes with veg and that goes with flowers. I do fail at some things. I'm not perfect. I mean, I can't always get it right. My dahlias this year have been absolutely rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. And these are dahlias that I've been growing for the last 4 years, and they've got 6 inches of leaf, but nothing else. In the last couple of weeks, they haven't done anything until the last couple of weeks. I don't know if that's to do with the weather or it's to do with something I've done or haven't done. I don't know. I haven't a clue. Also, there's talking about failures. My own failures this year has been parsnips.
Really?
My parsnips have failed. And funny thing is, mine went in quite early. And the guy I work for, I put his in about a month ago, and we've got one out of
Bloody hell.
a line or 2 lines. 2 lines, and we're talking 18-foot long. And we got one, and that's it.
Bloody hell.
So, is it weather conditions, seeds? Because he had a different set of seeds than I did. He had his shop bought, and mine are from the seed company, the
real seed company.
real seed company. Yeah. So it can't be the same. It must be something to do with the environment. Very strange.
It is strange. Hasdak has said he's found some black bugs on his peas.
Black bugs. That's a bit nondescript.
It is a little bit.
Do they have wings? Do they have legs? Or they just look like jelly things? Hang on. Let's see what I was going to say. I would sit on the caution of spraying it with a bit of neem oil. Excuse me, I'm just going to shout at the dog.
No worries.
Shut up! Did you hear that or not?
Oh, yeah.
You can still hear that, could you? I thought I switched my mic off.
That was so damn funny.
Sorry. She sees a cat across the road. No, I'm not Barbara Woodhouse. No. See it? You're showing your
anyway.
age, Barn Door. You're showing your age, mate.
The dog whisperer, not.
No, I don't whisper at my dog. Sorry.
Okay, anyway, peas.
Peas, yeah.
Spray them with what? So I've forgotten, to be honest.
You're peeing? No. You need to spray them with either washing up liquid. I always use only for this. I don't use it for any other reason. Fairy liquid because it's a tried and tested. Or spray it with neem oil. And you want the essential oil, not. That's right. The missus has come in. That's where she's barking. Yeah, so you want the essential oil, not the resin stuff, which is like a gloopy, horrible stuff that just is a nightmare to work with. Absolute nightmare to work with. You start giggling.
Yeah, it's just funny, isn't it?
It's like,
okay. I had that bat that flew into the window, whatever the hell it was, a couple of months ago, if people will remember. But he's slightly quieter than a dog barking, but it did make me jump, it must be said.
That's right. Now the missus is home, she's going to get some chicken wings or a duck neck to chew in the garden. She'll be quiet.
Can you get some attention?
Yeah, she'll be fine.
The dog says other brands are available. Back when the BBC had integrity. Anyway.
Yes.
I think that's all. I think we covered everything, didn't we? Is anything missing?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
We're all done there, I think. Has anybody got any other questions? Does anybody want to know anything for the next stream? Has anybody got any suggestions that you'd like to hear or see or whatever else? Please ask so we can have that prepped for the following. Shrubberies.
Okay, as a non-gardener, what the hell is a shrub? What is the difference between a shrub and a plant?
Well, shrubs are generally small bushes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it, just a small bush.
A small bush. So you. Sorry. I thought I could just have to say no. So you have these a small bush. So you could do like a shrubbery. Would be like those, like the small boxes that you see in like a topiary. That could be a shrubbery. He's just taken Michael, so I thought I'd digress. Otherwise, I'm going to be silly.
We have a we have a question from David. I didn't see this until just now. He has a serious plum disorder.
Because you get some cream.
That's why he's come to see you.
You're having problems with your plums.
It must be said, as a non-expert, flipping bloody hell. Okay, as a non-expert, this seems like a very sickly specimen.
Do you have a bush? A picture?
Oh, I'm dumb.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ooh.
That's one.
Yeah.
There are others. These actually, they look more like pears than plums, which I think is frightening.
No, that's pears.
I thought that was pears.
That's pears.
I thought that was a pear. Well, that's your disorder there, mate.
Yeah, you've got the wrong variety of fruiting bush.
Here you go. This here is not
Ooh, that's not nice looking.
that doesn't look normal.
No, that's got some form of fungal disease there going on.
Yeah, that needs a doctor or something.
That,
What would your suggestion be?
Ooh. Take all the infected fruit off and see if it happens again.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would take all of the infected fruit off. If any other fruit gets infected, then take that off and see if it keeps rolling on, then it's obviously the tree has got an infection somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if it has an infection, it's a bugger to get rid of. It is a bugger. So you might as well just chop the tree down and start again.
Oh no. That would be a shame.
We could do that. that'd be like what's that program where Esther Ransom was on? Back in the, they used to have rude fruits, didn't they? You had your carrots with the extra 2 legs and an extra piece.
Yeah, English bird agrees. Chainsaw time. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's just knock a couple of the fruit off.
Yeah, and destroy them. Don't leave them in the garden. Just get rid of them.
Burn them.
Yeah, burn them or throw them in the bin. Get shot. You just don't want that infection in the garden. It doesn't look healthy.
That
Even the
sick.
fruits behind don't look that good either. They look a bit iffy.
Yeah, they look a bit. In a weird sort of way, they kind of look a bit like quinces.
Yeah. Or
The skin is what I mean. The skin kind of has that sort of look.
quinces are lovely. If you know what you're doing with them, they are lush. Make a nice jam. But yeah, that doesn't look healthy. That fruit does not look good. That looks that there's a bad fungal infection somewhere. Has it got any on the branch? Can you zoom on that branch below it, so I can see that branch below?
You've got a bit of something going on here.
Yeah.
The leaves look okay.
Yeah, these look nice and healthy. It might be just this weird weather we've had. Has it ever done it before? Who was it that put this up?
I think it was Daffod. I'll just go check.
Daffod.
I'm sure it was Daffod, actually.
Daffod, has it ever done anything else? Could do.
Moving on. Oh yeah, he says the same last year.
Same last year. Oh, to take your tree out. Take the tree out.
Yeah.
Take the tree out. Yeah, it's a no-brainer, mate. And don't grow anything of the same variety of tree in the same place. So you could put
an apple there.
An apple or a cherry. No, you can't put cherry because it's the same family.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're all of that family. Yeah, you could get away with an apple, a pear, a quince. I can't pronounce it.
The butthole fruit.
Medlar tree. Medlar tree. That's a good one to put in there. They're quite resistant to most things. We had a cherry tree there. What? So you took the cherry tree down and put that in its place, Daffod?
I would imagine so, yes.
That might be a problem. That might be honey fungus. Yeah, that's probably what it is. So, also, if it's honey fungus, you don't want to put something like an Acer there. So like anything of the maple family, because that will die as well.
He said
No,
no in the middle of plum trees.
what is?
The cherry tree.
Oh, the cherry tree.
Yeah.
But I'd take that one out. Do it a bit at a time. Do it carefully so the fungus and stuff doesn't spread everywhere around the garden and just burn it. Just get shot, take it out of the garden and burn it. You don't want that spores in the garden.
Is there anything you can do to try and keep the spores down? Or is it just be careful when handling it?
Careful when you're handling it, and remember when you do it, make sure you've washed your gloves, washed your tools after with Jade's fluid. Make sure your tools are all clean after doing this job. Make sure nothing touches the other trees. But unfortunately, I would suggest you take it down, only so it won't infect the other trees. If it's happened like this last year, then it's obviously going to carry on doing this. It's an infection that you can't really get rid of.
I fear you are doomed, Plumwise, mate.
Yeah, you are, unfortunately.
Oh, there's always something extra sad about cutting down a fruit tree.
I know. Yeah, I've just taken on. Took on a garden a couple of weeks ago, and it's got 8 huge, and I'm talking 8 huge old espalier apple trees. And I took another job on at the beginning of the week. Those trees are about 150 years old. And I took another job on the beginning of the week, and she's got apples and cherries and so on and so forth. But the apple trees in there, they're 200, 250 years old. Those apple trees in her garden, but they're not looking the best. And she sort of mentioned me taking them out, and I'm thinking, no, I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Oh, one thing that comes to mind, Daffyd, what you could do, and this is your final option, only your final option before we go and get that sticky, nasty neem oil that I was talking about that I don't like using. That will be the only thing that could treat it. Nothing else would treat it. All the other things that they're selling in the shops will be nasty chemicals, and yeah, you won't want to eat the fruit for the next few years after that.
And what was the specific type of sticky neem oil? That wasn't the essence oil, was it?
No, it's not the essence oil. It's raw pressed.
Raw pressed, right?
Raw pressed neem oil. So that stuff, it's like gloopy, gooey stuff. And what you need to do is take about a good tablespoon's worth of gooey stuff and put it in hot, very, very hot water, not boiling, but very hot, so it sort of dissipates, and put a little bit of washing up liquid so it thins it all out. Yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah, and it is really gloopy. Some of it's like more like liquid, and some of it's really gloopy goo.
The colour alone makes it look gloopy, to be honest.
It's good stuff. It kills most things. It kills most bacteria and funguses in plants. But you can also water it into the ground.
Where do you buy it? Daffyd can't find it.
eBay. Yeah, I know. eBay. Don't buy Amazon. Don't like Amazon. eBay's a better one. But yeah.
That cold press, that is indeed cold press, right? There you go, £10 for half a pint.
Yeah, that would do it. That would do your tree. That's enough to do your tree.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to pop it in Discord.
Yeah, you've got to water that down. And you've got to put the washing up liquid so you can thin it out and spray it onto the tree. So what I would do is I'd spray it soak the ground around the base, and spray the tree, and spray all the trees around it. No, spray all the trees around it. But I would also take off the fruit before you do that. Take all the fruit off, the entirety of the fruit, and spray the plant as much as you can. That would be the only option, but apart from that, I think you're doomed. But we'll see.
Yeah, English Bird says she got hers for £5. So definitely look around. That was literally the first thing I came across. So that is not the best price by any means. But yeah, there you go. That is all. I'm glad I saw that.
What, the neem oil?
Not the Nemo. No, the Daffod in general. I'm glad I popped onto Discord and saw his problem.
Yeah, because the thing was with the neem oil. Sorry to digress a little bit. Sorry. The thing with the neem oil, it's non-toxic to all the good things in your garden, all the good bugs. Mm-hmm. So it won't kill any of the good things in your garden. It'll just kill all the nasty things that you don't want in the garden. So that is a benefit with using it as well.
Anyway, I think that is all.
Yeah, we've run over time, look.
There's no such thing as overtime. Seems so. We can go as long as we want. 24 hours stream when. Anyway.
If that's the case, I'll go and get some Pro Plus.
I might need some sleep before we start that. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. I really enjoyed tonight. It was bloody interesting.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Yeah. I thought it was a good balance between problem and solution.
But we still can't control the GMOs, though.
No, unfortunately not. But what we can do is tell them we know they exist.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do anything because they know we know it exists. But, such is life. What are you going to do? Anyway, we will be back tomorrow at normal time. Oh, I remember.
I won't be.
Well, yeah, the royal we, Joe and I. the stream tomorrow, the subject, the I'm stressed out just thinking about it. The bloody opinion piece we've found is genuinely, absolutely horrific. So yeah, tune in for that. At the very least, you're gonna slap your forehead a couple of times, I reckon.
Well, I'll get some painkillers in then.
I think you're gonna need them. I think we're all gonna need them. Just the headline alone made you think, "Oh no, please!" And then you read the subheading, and you just started to cringe inside. It was awful.
Oh dear. I look forward to it, but not. Hello, dog.
So yes, anyway, I will see you all tomorrow.
See you all. Well, I won't. I'll see you again in a fortnight's time. Take care.
Indeed you will. Bye for now.